Jared Goff revenge game for the playoffs on Wild Card Weekend. If you don't know, and I'm sure you do know, so that means if you're living under a rock, the Rams and the Lions face each other for the playoffs on Sunday Night Football, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a good one on NBC right there. You have former quarterback Matthew Stafford returning to Detroit to face the Lions in the first playoff game at Ford Field. The first home playoff game in a very long time. Man, oh man, what a storyline this is going to be, and this is what a lot of people wanted, and a lot of people are getting it. The Stafford returning to Detroit in a playoff game, but that's what the narrative's being around. Like, it's the Stafford Bowl, right? It's Stafford this, Stafford that, Stafford revenge game. I think it's differently. I don't think it's a Stafford revenge game. Stafford requested to be traded, and we obliged and traded him. The person who did not want to be traded or had no idea was Jared Goff, getting traded from LA to Detroit, going from a really good team 3 years ago to the Lions, where it was not so good. We're in absolute rebuild mode. And his whole life was turned upside down in a matter of days. You know, basically a West Coast, all super nice, and then you go to Detroit, where at the time, again, we were not a good team. We were completely rebuilding. It's cold, and it was funny that, you know, a guy of his situation coming here, you're going from a complete different situation. The throwaway quarterback is what they called Jared Goff. He was trash. He was garbage. You know, he was part of the deal to get the Lions to get those draft picks. He was a foregone conclusion of being a quarterback done in his career. He was just coming to Detroit just to hold the fort down until the Lions draft a quarterback. They didn't want him over there in LA. They didn't like him. Sean McVay got rid of him. He was trash to them. And now Sean McVay and the LA Rams are coming to Detroit. The Jared Goff-led Lions offense, the 12-win Detroit Lions, they got to come to Ford Field and face their former quarterback, Jared Goff. For me, when I look at this matchup, I get it, the Stafford coming back. I've been over the trade for a while, so I don't really look at it like, oh, Stafford's coming back and this, that. The one thing I do when I look at some of these players in the matchups is when I think of Stafford, I think of Stafford comeback, and the Lions need to make sure the game is put away if they're ahead, you know, at the very end of the game, even if there's 30 seconds left on the clock. You just got to make sure that you're ahead because we know that they can light it up really quick. Stafford's done comeback, so that's one of those things. But in all honesty, you know, he's more of a statue type of quarterback, and I think that's good for the Lions defense compared to a quarterback who is mobile like a Jordan Love, or in this other cases you look at like a Geno Smith, who they didn't make the playoffs, but nonetheless, this is a Jared Goff revenge game. Stafford got everything that he wanted. He got the trade, he got the good team, he got the Super Bowl. You know, he left a bad situation to a great situation. He has nothing to complain about. Nothing. The fans even support. A lot of the fans supported Stafford. Made the LA Lions, or whatever it's called, the Detroit Rams. You had a lot of supporters, and when the trade went down, all those Stafford supporters, they hated Jared Goff. So Jared Goff comes here, being thrown away. The media trashes on him. The fans didn't expect anything out of him. He was in a tough situation, and he ends up being really good for the Lions. Top 5 in nearly all statistical categories at the quarterback position this year. Almost 4,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns. High QBR. Led the Lions to a 12-win season for the first time, or tied it, franchise record of 12 wins. Playoff for the first time in 30 years. First playoff game at Ford Field. Winning the NFC North for the first time ever. Winning the division in the first time in 30 years. And now a lot of fans support Jared Goff. There's still fans that don't. And it doesn't matter if you support him or not. For me, I support the team, and I want my team to win. Jared Goff's our quarterback, so I'm definitely going to root for him. And in this case, I'm absolutely rooting for him. Sean McVay didn't want him. You're telling me he has an opportunity to knock his former team out of the playoffs coming to his new home. Oh, absolutely. That's the storyline that I'm looking at. Sean McVay threw this guy away. And he's like, you know what? Let's go ahead and put a stake in him and end it. Jared Goff's got to have a big game. This is his biggest game, I think, ever. Maybe second biggest game. The Super Bowl would be, I guess, his biggest. He didn't perform well. This is a great game for him. On Sunday Night Football, another primetime game. Lines are great in primetime. Yeah, we should be 6-0 in primetime. The 2-point conversion. Taylor Decker was eligible. Primetime Sunday Night Football in Detroit. You know it's going to be loud. And I got to tell you what, I don't want to hear when the Lions offense is out on the field, I don't want to hear people booing the Lions offense because you're a Stafford fan. Look, this is Detroit's playoff game. This is the Lions playoff game. This is not Stafford is going against our team. He's trying to beat us. He's trying to remove the team from the playoffs. We cannot be rooting for that. We need this Lions team and the fans to be loud against the Rams offense. We need them to be super loud against them. So big game for Jared Goff on Sunday. I tell you what, man. I wanted to face the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs because I want a revenge game from the Thanksgiving Day game. And interestingly enough, one of the teams that we don't like is going to lose because the Packers are traveling to Dallas. I don't know what one to really want to win or lose that game. It's hard to tell because I dislike them equally, but I think Dallas, I want to face Dallas after this game. If the Lions win on Sunday, I want to face the Dallas Cowboys. And I guess you would have to travel to Dallas. Look, if the Packers win, they would probably have to come here, depending on other scenarios, right? We don't really know. But that's what I would prefer. But, again, I'd love to host another playoff game. It's just I have a bad taste in my mouth from the 2-point conversion. I would love to end it. But, look, if Jordan Love goes down there and beats the Dallas Cowboys, you're not going to see me. Why? I'll laugh. And then we can then face the Packers at home potentially. And we don't know what's going to happen with the Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles is a disaster. Man, Tampa Bay may beat them. So, look, man, get back on track here. This is a Jared Goff revenge game. This is an opportunity for him and a staple. Tell you what, if we lose this game, we're never going to hear the end of it. Stafford comes back and beats the Lions. Oh, man, that would be terrible. So we really need to win this game. And I think matchup's pretty good. Look, everyone's going to say, well, he's going to carve us up. Well, so does everybody else. So what's the difference? I mean, literally, Nick Mullins has put basically 2 400-yard games on us in 2 out of 3 weeks. If Stafford puts up 400 yards, what's the difference? Not much, right? Like, the yards are still going to be the same. The only difference is I can see a situation where if you have 30 seconds left, Stafford can do a Stafford comeback, and that's something you don't want. So we got to put this game out, right? We got to get a lead quick and force Stafford to throw some picks because he'll do that. He's thrown 11 interceptions this year. That's pretty high. So we have an opportunity to do that, and I think the Lions offense can do damage against that Rams defense. I think they can. even with it looks like that Laporta's probably not going to be playing in this game. This defense it's not what it used to be for the Rams, right? They don't have the greatest defense in the world. They still got Aaron Donald, but man, I think our offensive line can handle their defensive line. The line's going to put up points. It would not shock me if this is late 30s type of game, 38, 35, something like that. I could see a situation where the Lions win it by a field goal, and right now we are favored to win the game by 3.5. So it makes sense of that. If the Lions beat the Rams at home, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. And again, we haven't won a playoff game in forever, and I honestly, I don't really care about the Stafford thing. It's been 3 years, he's already, and we played him already, right? We played him in 2021. We went to LA to face the Rams, so we played him there. So, but this, yeah, it's him coming here, and I get it. There's a lot of people that like that. Me personally, it's more of kind of another game to me, and that we're facing a statue type of quarterback. So obviously, we got to win the game, though. We definitely got to win. Jared Goff's got to have his best performance. Aaron Glenn, boy, you got your work cut out for you because Stafford can slice up defenses. So you got to get that. You got to get prepared for that. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. I think we can slow down their run game. That's something I'm convinced the Lions can do. Yeah, we didn't do great versus the Vikings. They can make adjustments there. We've been great throughout the whole seasons besides that game. And we still didn't give up 100 yards rushing, so good job from run defense. But it's going to be a great game, folks. Lions and Rams. Who do you got winning the game? Let me know in the comments below. Curious to see what you guys got on this one. Adios.